Yesterday, as I walked these neighborhoods, there was an older man walking a dog, and I was picking his brain about whether or not I could get to the water through this neighborhood. And we happened to be walking in the same direction, and I ended up having this really great, short, impromptu, unplanned conversation where I learned so much about the history of where it is that I'm walking. And I was thinking about this because a million years ago, 2007, there's a breast cancer walk where I walked 60 miles in 3 days, and it was down in San Diego. And this neighborhood reminded me of one of these little neighborhoods that I was able to see while I was on my feet walking through San Diego. Now, I had grown up in San Diego and lived there for a couple decades and never saw that neighborhood. And even after the walk, I went back to try to find it with my family so I could show them the amazing adventure that I had seen and the places that I had been and the neighborhoods and little nooks and crannies, and I couldn't find it. And it made me think, homeschooling is like going for a walk in little neighborhoods. I'm going to encourage you to do a couple things. Number one, look up Jim Kwik, Kwik, and binge study the way that he learns people's names. Super important, and teach your kids how to do this. Because as I walk through neighborhoods, as I walk through different communities, I collect people's names, because you see the same people when you're out and about every single day. And there's nothing more impactful than meeting somebody and then 3 days later seeing them again and being able to call them by name. So number one, Jim Kwik, my youngest son and I studied some of his teachings. And we leaned into and focused on speed reading and memory work. But the thing that's really stuck with me is the ability to remember people's names. I don't always get it perfect, but I do try. So number one, study so that as you are out and about in your neighborhoods, you can collect people's names and actually make a huge difference in their life. Number two, take the lessons from walking and apply it to homeschool. In order to walk, you have to have the right mindset. It's gonna take longer than if you get in a car. It's the same with homeschool. If you homeschool, leaning into what your kids are really interested in, it's gonna take longer. And that's okay. Walking is about the journey. It's about being ready at a moment's notice to meet someone new and to get their name and to ask questions in a way that, if they feel like it, they open up about something, their community, their neighborhood, something that they've done in their past. Super, super important. Take your time. Make homeschooling, learning, something that you take with you everywhere you go. To the grocery store, to the mall, if you happen to still go to malls in your community, to church, on the trails, picking apples. I'm walking by a little mini yard with some apples. These are apple trees in Washington. But just be ready to interact with the people around you. And then when something sparks your interest, when something sparks your kids' interest, grab onto that and find a way to lean into that later. Can you get books from the library? Can you find videos on the internet? Will you bump into that person again so that you can ask them more questions? Homeschooling is like a walk. Be ready, put your shoes on, collect people's names, and be ready just for a slow, relaxing adventure. Won't always be perfect, but at the end of 10 or 20 years walking life with your kids, collecting people's names, leaning into things that they find interesting and amazing and beautiful. Look at these little flowers. Look how pretty these are. Isn't that beautiful? Pausing to stop and smell the roses teaches your kids that life is all about the small things that add up over time. So anyway, my name is Bekki with A Better Way to Homeschool. I have a free gift for you in the descriptions. And if you like this type of content, please do me a high five, give me a like and a subscribe, and hit the little bell. And I will see you next time.